I know they got a problem, Brian. That's why Flasher Man's trapped over down there. That's why Amphibious Spaceman and his helpers are trapped. Joe Zillig, Harry Race, Bernard LaChance, DJ Dave, Pretty Twin One, Elton Anderson, Don Wiley, 1961 Oyster Cracker Man, Bitted Bat Horde, Blue Boy Boxes, GPS Paso, Robo Rapist Knight, Red Randy, Red Gordon, and Ellery, Jim Hall, Bill Duvall, and the All American. Because here, however big it is, they're later picking a street, Jamaica Street. Remember, entertainment for the angels or the gods, and so I don't want to start any blasphemous rumors, but I think that God's got a sick sense of humor, and when I die, I expect to find him laughing. And see, that's why that guy's a fraud down there, because he basically, like I said, Brian and his team spy and all that. So basically, Mr. Director there, the Intelliman or whatever, he's entertainment for the angels and the gods, and they watch them just lie and destroy themselves and the city and the world as their false claims. There won't be any rescue for them because he's a liar, and he'll flash AI or whatever, or Red Randy. That's how desperate they're cultists, Brian. That's what they are. They believe it until it becomes a problem, and then it's excuses. And then they get mad at the world or people who have a little more intellectual who get it, then they attack them. That's what Bernard and them do. That's what the Carney Circus does. They're trapped because they don't respect it. Dark moon, so their own moon beats them. So Joe wants to go up there and pretend he's from the moon. The sun, their own star beats. It's all excuse. Now we want it dark. Either when it was dark, they destroyed it. So they were entertainment for the gods or the angels. This is how the Greek empires, they want to do Greek. That's how those gods were destroyed, or how those empires fell. Christianity is no different. Science is no different. Atheism is no different. They're all trapped because they were entertained by their own destruction, and then they call out to their gods to save them. That's what they do. Or they call out to the military to save them, or the police to save them. Ghetto style, we don't want it now. Or country and western, all that stuff, Karen and all them, they gave it to them, and then they flash it, and that's all it is. They did this last time. The point is that they're murderers, rapists, and thieves, and they don't think they have to take responsibility for their actions, but they want to force the rest of the world to. That's what the hillbilly squads do. Like I said, it's the same abusers. If once I'm gone, they'll find another one and another one and another one. The fish story. That's all they'll ever do. That's why they're frauds. They just do it for attention, for fame. But remember, that's why he does the AI thing again. That guy does the same shit all the time, every time. You know why it's a boy? Because those men want to be fag, so they can rape it. Yep. They did it to the girls. Like I said, they attacked me and Bailey right away. That's all Bernard and them do. And that's why he obsesses over my cousins and the Schwartzes and whoever else. And if you defy them, they carny card you or whatever. That's what the All-American does. That's their whole premise. Entertainment for the gods or the angels. But that's why that empire fell, because they did the same thing. They once they started to cleanse themselves, then they turned around and wanted to live in filth. And then they blamed the Japanese or whoever, the Israelis. The African Americans did the same thing. That's why it's all boasting about once maybe being a god, but you guys never achieved it. So just remember, that's they're cultists, Brian. And once they screwed that all up, they were probably pretty much already insane, pretty much from the beginning. And that's why they do their pilgrimage and any excuse, bitted fat, LGBT, and that's what they do because they're in a corner, they're blocked in because they were already super massive racists. Plus, they didn't go to school, they didn't understand history, whatever. That's why that guy does that stuff. Like I said, he baits them in so he can have attention. Stare at the Mona Lisa. I mean, that's all they do. Pandora, because he thinks that their little blue boxes with their pictures on there is superior, and then they have little Bernardo LaFagala in the center. They do it so they can run their rapist cult, and they know it. And that's all it's ever been. Rainbow thieves, LGBT, and that's why they have a big pool of a mess. So be careful, because you guys might have became the entertainment for the gods of the angels, and then they sit in denial. Make a new set of robots for us so we can abuse them. We won't do it next time. Yeah, you guys will. Your own behavior proves you guys will, because you've done it before and before and before. And like I said, the more they've done it, the more detached and further away from reality they went. See what I'm saying? The Lockheed thing there, Brian, with Joe? They were always abusers. That's why they pretend they can't read, but they can read. They just live in denial of it. They just want to see it there to assert themselves. But they became entertainment for their own god that they're trying to clone and make. And see why it's dangerous for Harry and them, and they went down to be the devil, but they're not really the devil. And so the devil turned them into entertainment, because they have no comprehension of what that may be. Notice how much of a human quality they put into it, but they don't know what that power could be. That's why it's always a crappy, carny show. That's all Bernard and them have ever done. You know why? They were failed performers, running away from the crown or whatever, or the crusades, so they didn't have to fight war. But yet they want to have the acclaim to be the warrior hero. Some of them did, but they live that kind of fantasy. That's why it's always an excuse. They pretend they don't want the movie or whatever, or the book, but they really do. That's why they collect all that stuff and crap. So, and that's why when they do Greek stuff, they don't really understand it. And that's how that fell. Trojan horses and all that stuff. So, and then they use the children to prop up their golden child and stuff. So, you can have her, Bernard, but I won't be marrying any of the four of them, or the ghetto story of the Negro that you guys are trying to push, because it's all planned and paid for to cover up what you guys did in the previous past for Joe's crappy experiment with that fag. Because that's all they ever wanted to do. Stan, Joe, make sure they line back up in there. As soon as people are dead, they'll do the same thing. And that's what they do. And there's nothing most of the world can do unless you're overseas or you have connections, but that's all that group will ever do. So they became entertainment as they destroyed the city and all that. That's why I'm saying, like, those guys came through and just, as soon as they may have moved into Colorado, they trashed everybody's shit, took everybody's shit and trashed it. That's why they got clips of it and what it was they were trying to do. That's why they attached themselves to my father and then my mom and all that, my aunt. They tried to build stuff up with this stuff. And then they moved down to this next San Diego. And then they create their mess there. And Normal Knight said the whisper, "You're just trying to take away with it." No, they are the ones that took away everything. That's why they, like I said, Red Randy comes near where they tanked it down. They stay near the churches where they steal the information. That's their whole operation. And they don't know. They're like, "This sucks. We don't know what to do." Of course you don't. Because Bernard and them have to have their, assertion. So remember what I said. If you want to be Adam and Eve, multiple times Harry and 61 Amphibious Spaceman and Dave and Curly, they'll let you. But you're the destroyers of the garden, and everybody knows it because you guys tote it as the gangster ghetto way of being. And then they'll pretend and go run and hide. And then that's their run away. But they all, Ellery and Elton said, "Well, we're gods." Okay, but you're still the destroyer. And then you guys try to price yourselves above that. So if you guys were so godliness and if that guy was so smart, why do you guys got to sit there and jack with people's eyes and teeth and all that and make them look fucked up? For gods, that's not really, it must have been another part of the entertainment. So for gods, you're not really striving for perfection, Bernard. basically every culture that you guys run back and forth and tattletale to, and tell your story, you're nothing but breathing the same nasty stank breath lie all over the place. So be sure, Bernard and Harry, as you try to be the devil down there and try to be cool, that it wasn't the devil itself that basically said, you guys didn't know anything about me, and found out that you all were the lie, and then told the angels, and then told God, told the Christ, and they solved the whole mystery, and he's going to make the phone call, we got it then. But you guys would never know what those beings were, because you guys were the same ones that killed them. So be careful who you're aligning yourself with, Brian. I tried to save your life just about as much as those girls, too. And that's why pretty much I can prove they slaughtered an entire several families to get what they wanted. And that's all that's going to be left. And that's what that thing wants. So it can see its image. But the thing is, remember, Amphibious Spaceman and Robo Knight, if you want to be the artist and replace Kim or me or whoever, when you paint that tapestry, that's why they carny carve, that's a part of their art, I guess. When you paint that tapestry and there's a bunch of you, Bernards and Dougs and Robo Knights and Harrys and all that stuff, Jim Hall, Bill Duvall, a bunch of you little bitted fats, that when you paint your picture, those boxes become the same. So how could the Flasher Man or the Amphibious Spaceman, what you guys do, how could you have ever been gods? So be careful what you guys mock. Pay attention to what you paint, because you guys got what you wanted. And that's all you guys will ever be. Because you guys only think with your penis and where you guys are going to place it, instead of your brains that you all destroyed all by yourselves for the entertainment, for the gods and the angels and whatever you all believe in. So it's reflective. And that's why I do what I do, is to warn people to stay away from the group of you, because you're nutter.